Welcome to the Reticle Up podcast, where I, 3-Gun Kenzie, will be interviewing competitive shooters, hunters, fishermen, archers, entrepreneurs, and outdoorsmen. Come learn with me as I interview people from all walks of life, in different disciplines, all across the world, from novices to professionals of all ages. No matter what, everyone has something they can teach you, so come join me on the journey. I'm here with Matt Gundlach, a member of the Marine Corps shooting team. I met him a couple of years ago now at a match, so I'm excited to have you on. Welcome, Matt.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Better that I'm home. Work's fun. I'll just put it like that.
It is. Ladies, if you're
all
watching,
that.
you know, you promised me this teal shirt. I have to see the shirt.
Oh, it says wake and cake.
I love it.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, let's start this off. So how did we get connected? Do you remember?
Not completely. My memory. I go to matches, I go on deployment. Go to matches, go on deployment. So like it now that I'm like a permanent member, it's like easier for me to remember stuff on the team. I remember last year shooting Mountain State with you.
Yep. I want to say is it nationals maybe for multi-gun?
I probably drove up back in 16.
I have no idea.
See, this is talking about 3-Gun Nation Nationals, Hurricane Nationals, because I know I drove up to go see some friends and then had to drive. Well, a 4-hour drive turned into an 8-hour drive because I drove through Hurricane Matthew.
I was not there, but I've heard about that match. Oh God.
Yeah,
see, we don't know. We shoot stuff. We show up. We meet people. Yeah, there we go.
Life goes on.
It does. So, yeah, Matt, tell me what you do for work.
All right, so I'm the staff non-commissioned officer of the Marine Corps shooting team. Essentially, I'm not an officer, didn't go to college, so I'm a gunnery sergeant, enlisted guy, dumb grunt.
Not dumb.
And I'm in charge of all the enlisted Marines. I advise the officer in charge and give recommendations to him and to the commanding officer of Weapons Training Battalion, who is the team captain of the shooting team.
Very cool.
So my job doesn't involve a lot of shooting anymore. It involves a lot of stuff behind the scenes, planning, coordinating, budgeting, all the boring stuff that nobody else wants to deal with. I deal with that stuff.
Do you feel like you babysit every now and
then? No. Honestly, so when we get guys onto the team, we go through a pretty, I don't want to call it rigorous, but we know what we're looking for. We know what kind of Marines we're looking for, and we don't have any time for people who are not mature. So yeah, we all like to go out, have fun, but if we get a summer shooter that just doesn't cut it or is too immature for what we like, we're not going to pick them up permanently.
Yeah, and typically you don't want immature people around firearms either.
True.
Across the board. Okay, so you mentioned deployments and non-commissioned now. So tell me, are you active duty or your reserves? How does that work for the non-military people listening?
All right, so I am active duty. I joined back in 2002. I joined as an infantry guy. I was a security forces contract, so I thought it was going to be something really cool, but it was really just a glorified post stander. You go stand post, wait for somebody to do something, which nobody ever does with, where we guard. Like, I was down in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. There's nothing out there. It's a wasteland. The Cubans don't even want that property back. Castro gave that to us back in like the 50s or something, and I don't think has ever cashed a check that the U.S. has given them. I don't know, but it's a wasteland. It was one of the hottest, most humid places I've ever been, and yes, I am from Florida, so I can say that. The only other place that tops that was whenever I went to Djibouti, Africa, and that was like 130 degrees, 140 degrees with 100% humidity because it's on the Horn of Africa.
Gross.
Yeah, it was miserable. I thought I was going to die from heat stroke.
So you turned 18 and you just went straight in to do the 20 years or?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, 19. I was 19.
Oh,
Went in, did 4 years, did was in Spain for a year, went to Cuba for a few months, and then when I left security forces, I went to 3rd Battalion, 2nd Marines, and then 2 or 3 weeks after I got there, went straight over to Iraq for 6, 7 months or something like that.
wow.
Um,
Wow.
which I mean, it was a good time. Um, I am a product of the wartime years of the Marine Corps. Um, so that is what I like, and that is what I miss. I would call the period that we are in now the peacetime Marine Corps, and I am ready to retire.
Awesome. Congrats. And not to diss any military members at all. Not many people that are on shooting teams have your experience or do deploy or went through all of that. It's
Hmm.
really incredible and scary, but thank you for your service.
Yeah, I wouldn't still be in if I didn't enjoy what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. To make it 20 for sure. So what do you have next lined up now that you're retiring? Are you taking time off? Are you going straight into a career? What's your plan?
I do plan on going straight into a career. I have vacation saved up. So when I do retire, I'll probably do 2 to 3 months off of vacation, enjoy life, go on a trip. I don't know.
You've earned it.
Real life. Knowing me, considering I am such a nice friend to my neighbors, I'll probably go be working in the hay fields or something like that, like I'm going to be doing all day tomorrow.
I love it. Oh man. So when you're talking about careers and especially retiring, are there any tips out there or knowledge you like to share, with other maybe people that are going to be transitioning out of the military, how you line that up or, when you started thinking about that?
So for me, I started thinking about it last year. I'll hit 20 years in November of next year.
Mhm.
I started thinking about this back in early 2020. A little bit, yeah, actually, I think the year prior. You need to give yourself as much time as possible. You need to be thinking in your last enlistment. If you know that this is going to be your last one, you need to start working your exit strategy then. Go to medical, get seen. If you know you have a medical condition that needs to get taken care of, do it. Get it documented. It's all about, taking care of yourself, because if you have a family, it's also taking care of your family. A buddy of mine kind of said it perfectly. Um, I know I don't have PTSD, but let's say I did, but I was too proud to say something about it. Um, or I just didn't want to take the money away from somebody like that. What he told me is, hey, if you have a medical condition, don't be proud, don't be prideful, get it taken care of, get it documented. Because the thing is that money's going to be there anyway. It's not going anywhere. It's not like you're taking anything away from anybody. Get seen, get fixed, get the disability, because your body's not the same from when you went in to when you got out. So,
I like that.
um,
Yeah.
and then yeah, I and then look for jobs, like start the networking early, have a plan, know where you want to work or what industry you want to work in, and work it as best you can without sacrificing job performance while still in the military.
You bring up a good point. How much can you really network in the three gun community? Think about all the contacts that you've made. Have you
Hmm.
made connections there?
Mm. So it's all about where you want to live, where you want to move. I've already decided I don't want to move where I'm living. I live out in the middle of nowhere in Spotsylvania, Virginia. Um, I'm an hour away from Quantico. I have Trigicon up here. I have FN America up here. Um, what I think Aim Point or some. I think they're up in this area. We there's a lot of companies up here because Quantico's right there, and I would like to work in a field somewhere around there. I think FN's training facility is probably about 15 minutes away from my house.
What?
So
That's
that is
awesome.
something I'm considering, but we'll see. A lot of it comes down to making the right phone calls, talking to the right people, and making the plan work.
Yeah, and I bet you've gotten some contacts though, definitely in the community that you don't even know that you have connections to those companies, you know?
Yep. No, you're right.
That's the cool part. Um,
Hmm.
so tell me a little bit more about the Marine Corps shooting team. So how do the teams work? I think I have an understanding that there's different ones like pistol, 3-gun, what have you, but tell me a little bit how those work.
Okay, so we have three different teams. We have the rifle team, which they shoot traditional bullseye rifle,
Okay.
the boring stuff.
I agree. Sorry, BRS
Yeah.
shooters.
No, no,
I
no,
know,
no, no.
I know, but I think that's
This
boring too
is
much.
I got some of those guys are they're actually getting honed in on PRS.
Yeah.
They're not making it a full-time job on the team yet, but they are getting their foot in the door. They're learning the stuff they need to do. So yeah, we have the rifle team. We have a pistol team. Before it was called the service pistol team. Bullseye pistol, shooting 50 yards one-handed, and then 25 yards one-handed. Again, boring. You shoot the same course of fire over and over again. And I can say this because I was in charge of the pistol team up until last year. And uh, it was more of a leadership role for me. I am not good at it. I suck at it. I will wholly admit it. I think my highest score I ever got in a national match course of fire was like a 256 or something like that, which
Out of how many?
300.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it could be better. Like my guys were shooting in the high 280s, 290s.
Cool.
But for me, I'm not a shooter. Like even in my role now, I don't consider myself a shooter. I consider myself an administrator. If I'm not in the office, uh, taking care of the logistical, administrative, and all the coordination that goes into going where we need to go, then it wouldn't get done and they wouldn't be able to compete.
Yeah.
But we don't have a service pistol team anymore. Last year would have marked 99 years. This year would have marked 100 years of a service pistol team. We have an action pistol team now. Something I had planned on occurring since I got to the team back in 2018, and with the help of others, we did the proper planning, did the proper budgeting, transitioned the team to where they are now, and so we have a full-time action pistol team.
Cool.
And then we have the action shooting team, the 3-gun team, and it's kind of turned into, that's what I came to the team for. That's what I love about the team. I love all three teams. I love everybody on all three teams, but my heart is set with 3-gun because that's like the first shooting sport I ever got into.
Ooh, okay. I want to talk about that eventually. So we won't lose that. How would someone actually, make it onto the team, find out about it? You said you have like kind of a rigorous standard, which is great. I mean, the Marine Corps already has that, right? But how would someone, I guess, try out for it?
All right. So every year from October until April timeframe, we call it our MIC season, Marine Corps marksmanship competitions. Yes.
Mick? Hold on. Mick?
Yeah. Marine Corps marksmanship competition.
Cute. It's cute. Okay.
Yeah. So, well, it's better than like somebody down in Camp Lejeune. They were calling it Mickey East, and it's just like,
yeah, no.
yeah. So we'll go to, we'll host a match where it's 2 weeks long. First week is nothing but training. Second week is competition, individual competition, and then a team competition at the end. You earn marksmanship medals for it, but we start in October. Like this year, we're going to start with the National Capital Region match, so everybody in the Quantico area, and Virginia, Maryland. If you're a Marine, you can come down, you can compete in that. Once we're done with that, we'll probably go to Camp Pendleton, then we'll go to Okinawa, Japan.
Wow.
And then it's to Hawaii, then to 29 Palms, California, and Camp Lejeune. And then we take the top 10% of competitors at the Mix, and we bring them to Quantico, and we have Marine Corps Championships.
What?
And so previously Marine Corps Championships was 3 weeks long. This next one, or the last one we did, it was a week long. And it was all action shooting. We did a steel challenge competition. We did a PRS competition. We did a 3-gun, a 2-gun, a carbine, a USPSA. We had like 6 competitions in 5 days.
Wow.
And it was a success. And essentially, we take not only the top shooters, because yes, shooting is a huge part of what we do. It's everything we do, but the biggest thing I look for is the individual character of that person. Like, I don't want a scumbag on the team. I don't want somebody I'm going to have to worry about whenever they go and travel.
Yeah.
You know, I want competent people who can make good decisions. So that's pretty much 6 months of our life, just going around to the different sites and hosting a competition and picking the best to come to the team.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, I forgot who I interviewed. Oh, I think it was Rich Franco. I think he said, oh, maybe it was, I don't remember exactly, but somebody said that competition brings out character. I think that's very true. You know, you see people at their best, their worst. We shoot in all sorts of raining conditions. And yeah, I feel like and anyone who doesn't reset is immediately not my friend. So it tells me who I do and don't want to squad with the next time. It's true.
Yep.
So that's cool. That's cool. So the mission of the Marine Corps team, not just to, you know, place, like you said, in character. Is there another, you know, mission sharing, like, you know, Second Amendment with people, or what?
So I'll just go ahead and read off, you know, based on
You brought
the
it.
order.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So everything that the Marine Corps does, there's orders behind it, Marine Corps orders. And we wrote our own. We just finished writing the draft last year. It's going through the staffing process, and we're waiting for the new one to get approved. But this is essentially the mission of the Marine Corps shooting team. The Marine Corps shooting team is the Marine Corps' professional shooting team, and formally represents the Marine Corps in inter-service, national, and international competitions, both military and civilian. Permanent members of Weapons Training Battalion, Quantico, Virginia, from the nucleus of the Marine Corps shooting team, and augmented members are required on a temporary basis by Marines who demonstrate outstanding abilities throughout the competition and arms program. So everything we do, we are we are instructors first. So we go out to these to the competitions, 3-gun, high power, pistol, and we are bringing those skills back. We write our own periods of instruction and lesson plans, and then we go out to the Marine Corps marksmanship competitions, and we instruct basically trained Marines, or, you know, not basically trained Marines, but any Marine in the Marine Corps, no matter what rank you are. And we instruct them based off the lessons we learned in competitions. And essentially what that does is it increases the lethality of the Marine Corps. A lot of the Marines in the Marine Corps, the only experience you get behind a gun is when they go to their annual rifle or pistol qual.
Yep.
And it is been like that since the course of fire has been the same since like the 1940s. This year it's going to be changing to an annual rifle qualification that mirrors a lot of things, shooting off of barricades and stuff like that.
Cool.
But that's really the only experience they get once a year, doing that for about a week.
Awful.
Not
Yeah.
nearly enough.
Yeah. I mean, and when I was teaching down in Florida, like concealed carry classes, a lot of veterans be like, oh, I have my DD-214. I'm just going to go use that. And some would take the class, which was awesome. And when they would take the class, I'd ask them, when did you shoot with a pistol? And a lot of them were like, I only qualified with a rifle. I had a pistol service to me, but we didn't do anything with that. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Very cool. So the training is not there that you think.
Damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool though. So you're talking about training, bringing it back to them too, but how do the teams actually train, like physically, and mentally, both, for all of this?
Some of the teams like physically, some of them are all big boy rules. You're expected to go out and train on your own. For the 3-gun team, I wanted to try something different this year, so I went to the HIT gym on base, high intensity tactical training, and got with the trainers over there and told them, hey, this is what we're due. Here's some videos to go off of. These are the type of movements we do. And I would like you to design a workout, and I want to bring my team over here, the action shooting team over here. And I would like you to come up with sport specific exercises. So a lot of it involves explosive movement. So it's a lot of sprint workouts, a lot of mobility exercises, stretching, teaching us how to properly warm up, teaching us how to breathe. There's different breathing exercises in different positions, and sprinting from awkward positions, just to create that explosive movement. So they've been working with us for about 3 or 4 weeks now with that kind of stuff.
I was going to say real quick, 3-gun doesn't require you to get in any awkward positions.
No, but I mean, like,
I'm joking. I've been in tunnels. I've been off of stupid X barricades. Yeah, I've been awkwardly dangling off of just random stuff. I'm like, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my body hurts.
And then all of the gear that you got to schlep around. So it's not always just the awkward positions, but it's also, laying on your shotgun caddies or learning how to move with all that on. That's interesting.
Not dropping magazines because you knock something. It's knowing your gear, where everything is, and being able to properly move with your gear.
So once y'all do the trainings, do you actually then try and run those same drills, like with holding a heavy shotgun or putting the gear on and running it?
So most of the stuff that we do at the gym is just at the gym, but whenever we go back to the other side of the base where our ranges are, then we'll do like suicides and stuff like that with all our gear on.
Ooh.
Hey, train like you fight.
There you go. Now, are you one of those people that, like, it's raining, we better go out and train and do the same thing, right?
I hate the term, if it's raining, if it ain't raining, we ain't training.
Scott.
However it goes. If it's raining, we're out there and we're training, we're just gonna push through. If it gets so bad to where it's being counterproductive, yeah, sure, we'll stop. But if we're out there and we're shooting, yeah, we're gonna just push through. I mean, fuck, Texas was a perfect fucking example.
That was horrible.
Oh yeah, I mean, mud, rain, it didn't stop pissing on us, and it's just like, for fuck's sake, can we just get a break? Yeah.
I feel like every match I show up, I bring the rain. And you just point out something actually that I tell students too, whether it's raining, whether you're indoors or outdoors, but if you're training and practicing and say you're tired, you're hungry or whatever, and you start slacking off, so your foundations aren't there, you're actually practicing sloppy, you're instilling bad habits. And that's like what you said, if it's bad, just stop, because it's worse to keep going than it's like persevere through all that.
Yep. So as far as training, we try to get out to the range 5 days a week.
Wow.
We don't shoot no more than 1,000 rounds a day, and no less than like 400 rounds a day.
Your life is so difficult.
What you mean is my Marines' lives are so difficult.
I know.
My life in the office sucks.
You're in dad life. That sucks. You're range mom almost.
Mm-hmm.
Squad mom. Okay, so you touched on the physical aspect. How do you guys mentally prepare?
Everybody's a bit different. When we're on the range training, you're not going to be able to have the mental focus on every drill that you shoot. So the best thing you could do is, I'll call it go internal. I'm going to visualize exactly what I'm going to shoot, how I'm going to shoot it, and that is the one thing I'm going to focus on. And in my head, I'm going to say this is going to be the best run that I do, and I'm going to make this run count. And with that in mind, I'm going to perform it, and I'm going to go live and do it as best as I can. And that's going to be the run that I record.
Yeah.
And it's much same at a competition. It's always, you do your walkthrough. You have to understand where you're moving, point A to point B to point C, where you want your foot to land, where you want to have your gun up at, stuff like that. The plan. When you're out there resetting the whole time, you need to be thinking about your plan. You have to know your plan. You have to know how many targets are out there. And then whenever you're up on the line, you have to just visualize it one last time, and then you have to go hot. That's the only thing I really think about. How am I going to shoot this? It kind of hit me a few weeks ago. We were doing about a month ago or something like that. We were doing all our testing for the physical training and all that, and it's like we were doing deadlifts or something like that, and it's just like I think I had 325, 335 on the bar and everything. I was just like, it was kind of going through the motions, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna hit this, and I tried picking it up, and I'm like, I got it maybe 6 inches off the ground. I was like, what the fuck? I was just like, I'm not into it. And like one of my guys did, and he got it. So I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna let this motherfucker beat me.
Yeah.
So then it just like, I just focused all my effort and just I put that as my main focus in my head. And then like whenever I went and did it again, it was like nothing. It was like, okay.
Nice.
So
you didn't have the fear.
A lot of things are mental.
Yeah, a lot of it's definitely mental. And then if you do it once, you can do it again. It's kind of like when you get to a stage, man, I remember starting out, I'd be like, I'm terrified of that target, right? Because I've never seen it. And then now that I have, I'm like, oh, whether I do good or not, it's like, I shouldn't be afraid of that anymore. You know what else is interesting about maybe different, maybe not. A lot of us civilians, I'll say, compete against ourselves. Yes, we want to compete against others as well. But I think having like a Marine Corps team, and especially you guys being competitive, you also want to, like you said, you got to beat each other. There's a competitive aspect that drives you. So you're not always just fighting against yourself. You're actually trying to beat everybody else.
Yeah. And like the team is always trying to beat each other. It's like, I'm not going to let this guy beat me. It's like, you got to pick somebody who's the rabbit going to be. Find somebody of your same skill level, figure out who that rabbit is, and then be like, all right, this is a guy I'm going to chase. And if you're watching him, if you're squatted with that rabbit, it's just a matter of watching him, not mimicking him, but trying to keep up with him within your skill level.
Yeah, absolutely. You might not have this, but I feel like I want to ask. Baseball teams is what I think of every time I think of this, but do you guys have any like pre-match rituals or any like weird crap that you guys do?
Not really.
No.
I mean, half the time it's, we're either on the road and, burnt out from a drive. And so we just want to go get food and then hang out at the hotel, or we just fly in. There's, I guess, golden rules that we follow. And we don't drink at all before a match, at least, well, on the pistol team and the 3-gun team, we will not drink before a match. We'll have a beer, 1 or 2 beers, but we're not going to do anything that's going to make us lethargic or anything like that. 8 hours of sleep prior, stuff like that. And you know, and you want to have that for like days before, you know, eat 2,000 calories a day. You know, a lot of us will bring snacks to the range with us at a match and just like kind of keep our energy levels up. Those are more rules that we follow. We don't have any rituals or nothing like that.
I think that's neat though.
Yeah,
That's something.
so,
That's something you do.
mhm.
Okay. So the last guys I interviewed were like, oh, we should have an hour podcast about range snacks. So because it's just ridiculous. They bring Uncrustables, and the trick is to bring them frozen, then eat them later, or eat them frozen. What's like the one weird or grossest snack that you eat or that you've seen on the range?
You know, grossest. I haven't honestly seen anything gross. You know, I like the wasabi peas. You know,
Okay.
yeah, weird, different.
I'll make you drink some water.
Yeah. I'm into spicy. Yeah.
Okay.
I used to. I mean, that's one thing. Nuts. Healthy snacks is what you want. Every now and again, I'll bring like Starburst or high cheese or something like that. And I don't like eating a lot because the downer from the sugar rush it really sucks.
Yep.
But I mean that's really it. Uncrustables. Yeah, we'll eat those.
Grown men eating Uncrustables.
you know,
Love it.
it's an easy snack. I don't have to put any effort into it.
Gosh, boys. Okay. So getting to a match, like you said, you don't drink. Yeah, you try and get sleep. When you do stage walkthrough day, are you guys walking it together? Are you guys like, what are you seeing? What's going through, all of your minds? Are you talking it out? Are you guys stage planning to your level of shooting or to your strengths and weaknesses? What does that look like?
Everybody walks through pretty much together. We'll all talk things out. We'll point things out. We're not walking every single stage and coming up with hey, this is exactly what I'm going to do on every stage, because that's just information overload. We'll pick, if it's the day before day one, we're just gonna, go for the stages we're going to be shooting the next day.
Mm-hmm.
But it is very much a team effort. A lot of it is to what that person is capable of, where they feel comfortable taking those shots. But a lot of the guys, will shoot everything very similarly to each other.
Yeah, I mean, you train together.
And then if somebody wants to try and call an audible and be like, well, I'm going to hit this target with these targets with this gun, and a perfect example is one of my guys last year in Minnesota at the JKM match. He's like, oh, I'm going to hit all these targets with pistol. I'm like, dude, don't fucking do it. He's like, no, I feel confident. I was like, I know you're a good pistol shooter, but don't fucking do it. And he did it, and he got like 4 or 5 mics. I was just like, I fucking told you, man. I was like, that wasn't a good idea. He's like, yeah, you're right, Gunny. I shouldn't have done it. I was like, no shit.
That's so funny.
But I mean, we kind of like, we'll help each other out in that way.
Yeah. Do y'all have any lefties on the team?
I know we have lefty pistol shooter on the pistol team.
Okay.
On the 3-gun team, I don't believe we do.
That's helpful.
Yeah.
That's really helpful. Okay. Road trips.
Anthony
what?
DeVillo was a lefty.
I know. He's like, I just learned to live with it. Now he's like, I don't even want, people think about lefties. Just keep it going. Okay. Road trips. You guys are always traveling together. I gotta know. Tell me about like a really fun road trip that you guys, or funny thing that happened on a road trip.
I gotta be careful.
Yeah. Make up names.
No, I won't even use names. All right, I had this one guy a couple years ago, and this was a pistol team road trip, service pistol, and in shooting bullseye pistol, it's if you're hungover and you're on the line shooting, it's a lot different than if you're at an action shooting match, because at least with bullseye pistol at nationals, you're just standing in one place.
Right.
There's no movement, so all you're focused on is your front sight and your trigger. And so you actually are more relaxed. We'll just say you're more relaxed when you're shooting. Well, you know, before Pistol National started, you know, this is up at Camp Perry, Ohio.
Okay.
Cedar Point's like 45 minutes away. And I don't go to places with my guys typically because I am the senior guy. I have to abide by the rules and I have to maintain good order and discipline. So in order for me to maintain plausible deniability, I don't go. So
you weren't there?
Mm-hmm.
So you weren't there?
So I told the I wasn't there.
Okay.
I wasn't with them whenever they went to Cedar Point. I told them, hey, I know you guys want to go to Cedar Point. Go out there, go have fun, do what you want to do. Don't do anything stupid. Make sure you guys are maintaining, good order and discipline. We had one guy who had an alcohol problem. Got a little too drunk, got kicked out of a bar in Cedar Point. And then as they proceeded to walk out, they walked by the petting zoo, which was closed. There's a camel in that petting zoo.
Have you seen Letterkenny before you proceed?
No.
Okay, you won't get the allegedly joke. Continue.
So, and this is, I heard about it. I didn't see it. I didn't see the video, none of that stuff. But one of the guy who got kicked out of the bar, who had the alcohol problem, decided to go into the pen with the camel and proceeded to ride it. Well, a day later, I get wind of this. Somebody mentions it to me and it's like, we need to get this dude out of here. I'm like, hold your horses. I'm the guy in charge here.
Hold your camels. Okay.
Let me handle this situation. I didn't bust the guy down. I'm not gonna ruin his career. But I told him, hey, motherfucker, you're a fucking idiot. I mean, you could have been arrested. And the biggest thing is that it's like, and I told him, I was like, one, you're a Marine. Two, if you got arrested and it got put in the newspapers, it wouldn't be Sergeant so-and-so did this. It'd be United States Marine did this.
Yeah.
So essentially what I did is I was like, your appointed place of duty every day is on the range. As soon as you're done, your appointed place of duty is in the barracks. If you need to get food, you can go out with one of the Marines, go get food, come right back. You are going to be restricted.
Babysat.
And I maintained communication with my higher ups and everything and let them know what was going on. But that's probably one of the wildest things I heard about.
It's good stuff. More later. Talk to Matt later. Okay, so what got you into 3-gun? Because I want to hear about that. And then I want to talk about what guns you run, what gear you run.
All right. So late 2013, early 2014, I remember 3-Gun Nation on TV on the Outdoor Channel or something like that. I remember like, oh, what the fuck is this? I never watched the Outdoor Channel. I was bored one day flipping through and I saw this and I was just like, holy shit, this is actually really cool. I was an instructor at the School of Infantry at the time. So I was like, this is actually really fucking cool. I saw James Gill on there in the Marine Corps shooting team jersey. I was just like, we have a fucking shooting team? Where the fuck did this come from? I had no idea.
Really?
I spent my entire career, deploying, coming back, training, deploying, that's
and
all
see your own thing on TV. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. So never knew about it. And so I was like, I want to look this up. And so, and for me, the purpose of it was I wanted to learn something and I knew I was going to be going back to the fleet, and being in charge of a platoon. And I wanted to bring those same skills to those Marines. Yeah. Because the Marine Corps didn't teach me, that type of shooting. So that's essentially where I got started, shooting Tar Heel 3-gun back in 2014.
That was your first match?
Yep.
Okay.
It was a ball buster,
I mean, go big or go home. If you're going to start, you're going to start.
Yeah, I mean, but I
My-
learned a lot. I met Mike and Nancy Overman, and like Nancy's like my second mom.
Oh.
She's great people. Mike, that's Papa right there. You
Oh.
don't fuck with Mike. Um, and so I got in with them, and then another guy, I met him at a USPSA match locally outside of Camp Lejeune, Bob Osbeck, and he shot 3-gun USPSA, and so me and him are like best friends now.
Oh.
And we were road buddies. He drank my dip spit by accident one night.
Ew. Ew.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-uh.
Uh-huh. I still give him shit about it to this day.
I got to move on from that. I will imagine it. Gross. So gross. Ew. So you applied and you made the team, or how did that happen?
For me, it was a bit different. When I started shooting 3-gun, 4 months out, I didn't shoot 3-gun until, probably April of 14 or something like that. And then I went back to a Victor unit, took over a mortar section, deployed 4 months later.
Oh, wow.
Spent 6 months on deployment, came back, started shooting matches again. And in between the workup, deployed again, came back, so it was like very touch and go for me.
Yeah.
In between that, after that second deployment, after starting to shoot 3-gun, I was like, I want to shoot FNH, and I knew that was, going to happen 2 weeks after I got back from that deployment. And that's essentially where I met the team. I was on the same squad as Gil. Gil was out of the Marine Corps by then. He got medically retired, but
and he's crushing the tactical games too.
Oh yeah, he's up in New Hampshire right now. I talked to him yesterday on the phone. But shot that match, and I met Nate Stocking. He was the staff NCOIC of the team back then, and him and I kind of kept in contact. Well, I went overseas again 4 months after that, and I was gone for 13 months.
Oh my gosh.
And as soon as I got overseas to Bahrain, he sends me a message. He's like, "Hey dude, I'm putting in a gunner package and I need somebody to take over for me." I was like, "Well, dude, I just got over to Bahrain. I'm going to be over here for a year, and going in and out of other places." And he was like, "Well, that's perfectly fine. That's when I need you here."
No.
Like, okay.
Cool.
I was like, "Let me talk to my wife, see what she thinks, because if it wasn't that, I would have probably chosen to go to another deploying unit, which, the monitor, the guy who controls where I go, basically told me, fuck no, you're not doing another deployment." I done, essentially that was my third one in less than 4 years. Yeah,
that's a lot. Really fast.
So he asked me, I put in a package, and and personally, and I was not ready to go to the team. I was not at that level to be on the team, and I know myself, and I know what my capabilities are. And I went up to him. I was like, "Why the fuck did you choose me to come over here?" I was like, "I'm not that good. And even now, I'm still not at the level I want to be at."
Yeah.
Like, well, I didn't have you over here to be a shooter. I needed somebody to keep moving the mission forward. I needed somebody who understood the sport. I needed somebody who needed to understand the direction that the team needed to go in. I was like, okay, makes sense.
It does. And people don't know the real Matt. You might be a good leader and super serious, but you're a big old softy too. And
I just have a natural resting bitch face. I can't help it.
I know. But you're a good ambassador for the sport, and that's part of the mission too, right? So
I try, yeah. It's all about, to me, it's being that good ambassador, taking care of those who has taken care of you and has helped the sport out, and just promoting the program as much as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so a lot of three gunners, it's hard to get into three gun, right? So all of us have that starting point. And a lot of people are like, they don't start because they have that fear of, I don't have the gun, I don't have the gear, I don't have the equipment, right? I am still probably missing pieces of equipment that I don't have, but people lend out a lot of gear and, borrow stuff. So tell me what you started with, like what guns you started with, and versus like what you run now, what you moved up to, I guess.
I'll put it like this. I was an FN groupie back in the day.
Enough said. No.
Yeah. I had a SCAR 16,
God, that's heavy.
Wow, man, I'm a short guy. Borderline midget status, if you want to call it that. So I shot with the SCAR.
Oh my God.
And then I had an FN SLP shotgun. That thing was very picky, and it was fucking heavy too.
Damn it, you Marine. I can't.
And then I had a Glock 34.
There you go.
And that's what I ran with, and that's what I continued to run with for a long time. And then I really started doing my research and built my own rifle, and I was happy with that. Then I kept shooting the Glock for a long time, and ended up buying a Benelli M2, and so kind of evolved into that. And then whenever I got serious into having to take care of the pistol team, sold the Benelli, and ended up trading that for an STI. But then I ended up selling that gun, and now I have a DVC limited, and I love that gun. So I'm running a DVC limited now. Still shooting a rifle that I built and all that. And I have a Stoger M3K, nice. And has some accessories on it. And the biggest thing is you don't have to have the most expensive gear out there. Like realistically, if you wanted to, you can have like a $2,000 budget, $2,500 budget. Is it the best gear? No, but it's best if you want to start, use what you have, borrow what you can, and, start learning where you're at and what works and what doesn't work, and then start making informed decisions from there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I remember my first three gun. I shot irons on my rifle like an idiot. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah. My magazine pouches were my back pockets and my front pockets. I did what I had to do to start, and I still have the pictures, still the videos. But yeah, no.
Watching those things anymore. I'm embarrassed just watching myself.
I know. Oh, but it's so good to video yourself and see where you were at and see where you came. So when you give yourself that hard time, about performance, you're like, hold on, look where I've improved. And even in three gun, dissecting like your stage afterwards, you have to take away small wins. You might be like, that stage was horrible. Sure, maybe overall, but did you hit your reloads? Did you transition? Did you at least get your hits on paper? Maybe, I don't know, but there's stuff to take away that are wins, I think.
Well, it's that's one thing we do. One thing we on the team we always try and do is record ourselves running through stages. And half the time, like I won't get my phone up. I'll forget. Call me an old man. Alzheimer's or something. I'll forget. So one of my guys knows to pull out his phone and then send me the video later. But we try and take recording ourselves pretty seriously, because whenever we get back to Quantico, we'll put the videos up on a TV. Cool. And then everybody will sit in there, and we will dissect every video, what was good, what was bad, where we improved, and then essentially from there, we'll write everything down on where we can improve and what we need to work on, and then we'll tailor our training schedule based on the previous performance. And then we'll also take into account what match are we going to next, and traditionally what kind of targets, what kind of stages that they're going to be. And so it's kind of mix and a balance of the skills we need to work on and what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to ask you, what's your one piece of gear or equipment or say a tool that you can't go anywhere without? Like it's changed your life.
I don't think I have one, to be quite honest with you. Uh, I got it.
There we go.
Yeah,
Okay, for those
dip.
on audio, he just held up his dip can. So there you go.
I can't function without nicotine.
There you go. That works. That works. Teach their own. Do you
Mhm.
have a dip caddy yet or like a pouch?
Nah, I just
You
keep
need
it in the
one.
pocket.
You need
Or
one.
most of the time, like I hate having things in pockets, so it'll be in my range bag, which has fucked me once before. I was at the Delmarva sectional a couple of years ago, and I was shooting with Darren Morrell from Red Stitch Targets.
Mhm.
And so I had my phone. I threw my phone in my bag, grabbed my bag, held it over my shoulder, and then I just felt this vibration in the bag. I'm like, somebody's calling. The thing is, I thought I had my phone. I usually keep my phone on silent, not silent mode, but airplane mode when I'm at matches. I
Okay.
don't like people bothering me.
Right.
And I was like, why the fuck is my phone ringing? Well, it was 911. So somehow, what is it called?
It's like the
Uh,
emergency
it
SOS.
sent out an emergency SOS.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing about this is my father-in-law was with me, and my father-in-law, my wife's from England, so my father-in-law is from England, doesn't have any firearm experience or anything like that. At a major match, SOS goes out. My emergency contact is my wife,
Oh my
and
God.
I didn't realize it at the time, but my other emergency contact was my mom. So an emergency SOS is going out to both of them. My father-in-law is with me, and the cops are calling me, and it's like out there at Shadowhawk Defense, it's like there's no good reception. So, and then there's gunshots in the background. So
Oh, that's not. Yeah.
I'm telling the cop, no, everything's fine. It got bumped or something, nothing like that. Next thing you know, my wife's fucking calling me. Is everything okay? Yes, everything's fine. Please stop calling me. I'm trying to prep for this next stage. I was like, your dad's not dead. She's like, you know how this seemed. Yeah, I know exactly how it seemed. And then my mom calls me. She's like, oh, is everything okay? Yes, mom, everything's
Oh.
fine. I can't talk right now. But no, mom, I'm about to go up on the stage. Leave me alone. Bye.
So what you're
Airplane,
saying is you have a loving family.
I suppose.
That's horrible. Was it the dip can? Like what happened? You still
I don't
don't know.
know. It was in my bag, and magazines. I threw my bag on the ground. I couldn't tell you. It was like
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it. Hasn't happened again since.
There you go. There you go. I turn my phone on airplane mode too. I think that's actually a really good tip for people to think about. Especially if you wear Apple Watch. You get pings on your phone, and even a text message can pull you out of that, even a Facebook notification, anything like that. So your time to shoot, think about it. All right, we spend what, $300 on match fees, probably a couple $100 on gas. Maybe it's a flight of $400. Then we have food. Then we have all of the things at the actual match. And we've got what, 6 minutes to shoot maybe for the whole match.
Yep, you're on average, spending $1,500 to $2,000 depending on where you're going.
Yeah. And if you've got, text messages, phone calls, and you're distracted and you're on social media and all of that, are you really present and really enjoying your time? Or, if something comes up, you've just wasted $1,500.
Like I'll tell you how far I get into it. When I go on a trip, I don't call anybody. Like I leave my family behind, and they know that. I've gone to, overseas, I've gone a month without talking to family.
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey, you're not going to hear from me for a few days. And because I want to keep that focus, I don't want things from back home to interfere with any of my mental performance, because if I have to start worrying something about home, then my focus isn't going to be in the match.
Yeah. I had one of those bad times. I won't repeat it. I already know, you probably already know too. But anyways, I had a lot going on personally, and it comes to the match, right? So we go back to that thing where, if you're training poorly, probably should stop training. I probably should not have been at that match. Looking back, I should have just eaten the cost because it was horrible, but I brought everything for my personal life going on, to that match.
Yep.
Not good.
It happens.
It does.
A lot of the times, it's what you learn, everything is a learning experience. And as long as nothing is ever a failure. It's just it's just something you can learn. Now, if you repeat it, then, that's where
then that's on you. Yeah. Hey, this podcast might be a failure one day, but I'm learning.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking about mental stuff. Let's keep going on that. Do you think most of shooting is actually mental over like the physical aspect?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, because you can have that old white guy, the fat old guy that goes out there and just beats your ass. And the top guys are always going to be physically fit.
Mm-hmm.
Traditionally,
the juniors, yeah. They can run still.
But how mentally strong, how mentally prepared are you? Everything you do on the range needs to become second nature and a subconscious action, to where you don't have to think about it. So all you have to think about whenever you're at the match and on that stage is where you need to move to. That's the only thing that you should be thinking about. So everything should be a subconscious act, and your movement should be what you're actively focusing on.
Yeah. Do you think that from where you started shooting to now, like, that your mental game has changed, and what did that change? What made that change for you?
When I first started shooting, I couldn't even tell you what mental game was. I was just walking to the stage and just, make an ass out of myself. Everything just, it's the people that you're around where you learn that from. And I really didn't learn about, the mental aspect of anything until I got to the team. Heard about the book With Winning in Mind from Lanny Basham. And that's a good book. It's a good book for bullseye shooters. There's a lot of things you can take away from it as an action shooter, which Ben Stoker now has a book on
match mentality. Yeah.
Yep, match mentality.
Yep. Read that one.
And that's essentially it turned into I needed to work on my mental focus, but there was a lot of you need to work on everything, but most of it you need to work on yourself, and
worry about you, compete with you, and then maybe go compete with your guys and talk shit later. Hell, I still talk shit with everyone, even though I'll probably lose. I've won a couple bets. It's been good.
Yeah, I mean, a buddy of mine pointed it out, like a 3 years ago at NRA
annual meetup,
World Shooting Championship, I think it was. I got like this quick 10-second snippet on one of the TV shows, and it just all I said was you got to keep it lighthearted, and that's totally true. If you are putting yourself down every time and you're taking everything to heart, then you're not going to have fun with it, and you're not going to get better. Yeah. We do take everything serious, and one of the biggest, I at one point I could have been considered, I know that type of guy. Yeah, I know. And you don't learn anything from that. And now I'm one of those guys going up to him. What did you notice? Where was I weak at? What can I do to improve? And you have to take, don't take anything personally. If somebody's, you never want that unwarranted criticism. But if somebody is actively coming up to you and asking you something, or
telling you something,
you got to, I'm the most blunt person out there. If you ask me a question, I'm going to give you the honest answer, and whether you like it or not. And it's with good intentions in mind. Yeah.
This industry will weed you out quickly, and shooting will weed you out quickly. You probably already heard it on the podcast, but if you can't handle cursing, if you can't handle shit talking, and if you can't handle the truth or people ragging on you when you do poorly, it's not for you.
Yep.
You'll be there for a week.
Everybody knows people curse on the range.
Huh.
Don't bring your son there if you don't want him to hear those types of words. It's all I'm gonna say. You know.
So
I hate myself around juniors, but you know what? If it comes out, it's gonna come out.
it's sent. Yeah. I had at nationals. We should have had an actual disclaimer on our squad. Honestly, I wish we could do that. We had like Bill Duda for Go Fast Don't Suck, and then me, some other the Atlas shooters, and there was a junior daughter there, and we straight up said like, "Hey, warning, like this is gonna come out." But what was so funny is that she at 14, 13, something like that, talked shit with the rest of us and could give it back. And I was like, yes, she's going to be worse than I am.
Hell yeah.
I can't wait.
That's the females we need in this world.
I know. I know. Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
I get Logan hooked up while we're up in Minnesota.
I can't. This episode, I don't know when it's going to air, right? But Logan, what's coming is going to be interesting. He's just not hitting puberty. He's getting a deep voice, you know.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to have fun with him. I can't wait.
God. Question, do you still get pre-match jitters or like pre-stage jitters at all? Or is that kind of gone away now?
I'll get pre-match jitters. You know, and that's telling me that I still give a fuck, that there's still a give a fuck factor there, and that I am passionate about what I'm doing. If you don't, stage jitters, not so much anymore. Maybe if I'm uncomfortable with something I'm gonna see or have to do, if I wasn't fully prepared for it.
Yeah.
But you know, it usually hits me the hardest whenever it's like I'm coming back to shooting. You know, it's the first major of the season. You know?
Right. Yep.
I definitely felt it in Texas, and it's just like, to me, it's like I'm not just representing myself. It's just not me. I'm representing a higher organization, something that's bigger than me.
Yeah.
And you know, but you just always have to keep that professional mindset, and you know. I'm very stoic in nature, you know, so I don't let a lot out, so a lot of people don't notice.
Yeah.
But I do
until you get to know you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, then it's just different.
Oh yeah.
That's cool though.
You can talk to the Blue Ridge crew about me, and yeah.
Yeah, when you were talking about like physically fit and knowing what match, you know, you're going to, that is a long range for sure. And that's running and gunning. A lot of that. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I know I have my like pre-shooting ritual kind of like when I know I'm up, right? So when you know you're up or you know you're on deck, what's going through your head? And then right before the beep, like what's going through your head then too?
So when I'm the on deck shooter, or you know, I'll even take it back because we train our guys. Hey, if you're in the hole, you're not going to be resetting.
Yep.
You know, start prepping yourself, getting your stuff ready. At that
and
point,
not deeper than that for all you listening, by the way. If you're deeper than that, you better be resetting.
Pretty much. Yeah, don't be that asshole.
Tell me that guy. Okay, go ahead.
That's whenever I don't talk to anybody. You know, I get in my own head, and that's my time with me to start. Like, I'm gonna do like my final walkthrough when I'm the on deck shooter. I'm gonna make sure I hit the spots I need to hit. That's when I'm just totally focused. Like, my whole focus is on what I'm going to do, where I need to hit my reloads, where I need to reload my shotgun, where I need to take my shots with the rifle from. That is the mental game for me. You have to put your total focus there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. 3 guns, 3 more problems. Oh man. Okay, so wrapping all of that up on mental game, what's your biggest advice, or maybe recap it all, for other people to improve their mental game at matches?
Focus on you. don't worry about anybody else. Don't worry about the person who shot before you. Just worry about what it is that you have to do.
Beautiful. And the worst thing you can do, I will tell you, is watch the person in front of you. Because I swear to God, everything that you just thought in your head, you will literally go do what they did.
Yep.
So when we were at Multi-Gun Nationals, it was Beth Walker, Becky Yackley, and me. And it was the stupid one where you went bay to bay and your pistol was not on you, as in the bucket. And we had our holster on still. So we go from rifle portion, run across, and then Beth goes to ghost grab her pistol. It's not there. Then she picks it out of the bucket. Guess what Becky did right after her? Same thing. Guess what Kenzie did after Becky? Same thing. I'm just like, why? And I'm normally really good about that because I don't want to watch anyone. Like, I'll turn my back. I'll put my eyes over my face. I'm like, I cannot watch the person shooting when I'm about to go. Ugh.
Yep.
It's the worst.
Yep. I stand back, let them go forward some, and then I start doing my walkthrough.
Yeah. Okay, so switching gears, talking about training. And you're about to be a civilian, but civilian firearms training and military training can be very different, especially like you said, if they only get, once a year to shoot or qualify or whatever. What are some things that you wish civilians maybe would learn or improve upon that maybe the military teaches like really well?
Kind of hard. I really haven't been through a lot of training with civilian organizations.
Okay.
So I don't feel comfortable asking that.
Sure.
Or answering that. Military, at least on the military side, I wish, so much of, at least in the Marine Corps, is controlled by doctrine and
Mm-hmm.
POIs and stuff like that. So it's very hard for us to deviate from what we're allowed to teach, which is the beautiful thing about the shooting team, is which we're not controlled by doctrine. We're not controlled by a formal POI. So a lot, we have the freedom of movement to create whatever we want and create whatever product we want. So to me, I wish, like, in the military, they would, they would put a lot more emphasis on marksmanship.
Mm-hmm.
And the Marine Corps is starting to do that. We're coming out with an advanced marksmanship training program and stuff like that. We are, taking lessons learned and taking the active steps in order to create more lethal Marines so we can go out and kill people if we need to.
Yeah. That was my next question. That you hit on, of like how we can improve military training, right? Because I do have a lot of them that show up in classes, right? And they've maybe qualified with one gun, not the other. Maybe they've never even shot it. It's been years. And that's awesome though. I think shooting and moving is also one of the biggest things to learn, and breath control. That's like my biggest weakness, knowing not to hold your breath.
So, and that's one thing I think the military does right. Like, we are very good at teaching the fundamentals, like the bare basic fundamentals. We do really well at that. So we do create a very good baseline.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, Matt. So now that we're towards the end here, do you have any final nuggets or advice or anything that you want to talk about that you want to leave people with?
I thought I wrote something down, and I probably thought about writing it down and all that. No.
Well, take your time.
Yeah. I really don't. I think we kind of covered everything. Well, all right. I kind of remember what I was going to write down, but never did.
Okay.
Take the time to put the training in. Spend your money on the training and on the ammo, and rather than having all the sexy gear. You don't need the best thing in the world to get started. So make informed decisions after you've made improvements.
Yeah. Perfect. Little bow, wrapped up in a bow. I definitely started with a Glock as well and moved up to a 2011. And I feel like, if you're changing guns, it shouldn't be just to change guns. It should be because it'll help you shoot better. But that's not something you need to start out with right out of the gate. And if you start with 2011s with these little light pound triggers too, you're not going to want to go back, but you're also going to skip out on a lot of the fundamentals. Recoil management with striker fired pistols is like something everybody should learn big time.
Yep. I mean, a good shooter should be able to pick up any gun and do well with any gun.
Yep.
One of the OICs on the team, Captain Scott, he's a perfect example. He decided, hey, I'm going to shoot this whole stage with my, what is it, the P365. I'm just going to go out there and shoot with it. And you know what? He beat everybody.
Yeah.
Why? Because he's a good fucking shooter.
Yep. Nils shoots the Canic. What does John Browning shoot? Do we remember?
2011.
He does 2011. There's a bunch of them that are the top. Shane Coley, another example of Glock, just crushes everyone with these polymer guns.
Yep.
That's awesome. You kind of already said it probably, but I have a final question for you that I want to ask everyone. So maybe specific, but what is maybe one book, one class, like one thing that you highly recommend, someone starting out read or go do?
Ooh. A book.
It's not be a book. Could be a book. Could be like a specific instructor class or a video or something. Like, what's that like really good learning resource that someone should check out?
Well, as far as classes go, one person I go to, if I want to talk to somebody and I want to get my head straight, or if I just need to bullshit, or just kind of, talk to him about the decisions I made. And we don't talk often, and we've only shot a couple matches together, but that'd be like James Gill. James Gill is a phenomenal person. He's also a phenomenal shooter. Yeah. And he knows what he's talking about. And I kind of go to him because he was the kind of guy who put the Marine Corps shooting team on the map for me. Absolutely. And a lot of Marines. So for me, if you were to go get an instructor, that'd be the guy who I would recommend.
Love it.
For books, as much as I don't like Bullseye, with Winning in Mind was not a bad book.
That's what I'm gonna name the title of this episode. I don't like Bullseye.
Oh my guys, you're gonna love that.
I feel like I have to. Awesome. Okay, well, Matt, how do people find you or connect with you if they want to ask you questions, maybe learn more from you? Do you have social media? What does that look like?
I do have social media. I am on Facebook. Matt Gundlach. I'm on Instagram. It's the @ symbol MF Gundlach. So yeah, that's
awesome. Everything you got. At least you're more social Marine. Most of y'all are not on social media.
Yeah. We're just very careful about what we post nowadays. So I'll leave it at
that. This is the G-rated episode. Love it. Matt, thanks for being here. Thanks for being on the podcast. I had a lot of fun, learned a lot. Hope you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you next month.
Heck yeah.
Logan.
Poor Logan. We're not gonna mention the name, but she has no idea that it's coming.
Oh yeah. I was gonna be respectful in that manner.
Oh well, oops.
Barb is totally on board and she can't wait.
I know. Oh man. Cool. Well,
we'll have to do an update after the match.
Yes.
So Logan now.
Oh yeah, this is not the last time we're on this podcast for sure. Maybe even live from the match one day.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Right?
I guess I can do that. Fuck it. Let's see what's gonna happen. They can make me retire.
Send it. Yeah, they're not gonna fire you with less than a couple of months to go here. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, cheers. If you're listening or watching this, be sure to subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on social media at Reticle Up. Thanks again, Matt.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks for listening to the Reticle Up podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Follow along on social media at Reticle Up or 3 Gun Kenzie.